Hello everybody, welcome to the I Am IT YouTube channel. My name is Shabazz Dan, as ever, I am the IT Geek. Welcome back to another episode with my SE100 Microsoft Cybersecurity Architect exam series. We're now on topic 7, so just about on the halfway stage of the series. There are 15 topics altogether, so it's a big exam, to be fair, and it is an architect level exam, so you kind of expect that. And essentially, what we're doing in this exam is putting all the stuff together that you've kind of learned in your SE 300, SE 200, SE 400 exams, and ideally, you should have really done those before you target this and try and aim for this and attack this exam, just because it's an architect level exam in that sort of security area, and you need to know all those different aspects of identity, operations, security operations, as well as sort of information protection, because this covers all of that from a design perspective, from an architectural perspective. So there's a lot to cover, and we're just about halfway. So this is topic 7 that we're going to start. So let's get started with this episode. So as I mentioned, this is, if I can get it started, there we go. So this is the SE100 Microsoft Cybersecurity Architect exam, and we're on topic 7, part 1 today. So a bit of a breakdown of what we're going to discuss today. Specifically, we're going to do an introduction into privileged access, and then talk about the enterprise access model, and then we'll do a bit of a demo around those different sort of levels and tiering, sort of administrative tiering, and how you can set that up in the cloud. So let's talk about an introduction into privileged access first of all. So a lot of different aspects that kind of are included in privileged access. So essentially, the sort of privileged access includes a way for IT admins specifically to control those sort of larger portions of that enterprise estate. And again, it's about giving access to services that to people whose job and tasks require it on their daily tasks. Again, it kind of fits in with that whole RBAC model as well. But privileged access is essentially giving a user, an IT admin, higher access than their standard account. So again, it's about separating privileged access into different accounts at different levels. Again, other users with access to business critical assets as well, it includes that. And some kind of, more sort of frequently exploited sort of areas are sort of those human operated ransomware attacks as well. And also targeted data theft as well. It's an attractive target, and it allows attackers to access business assets at that enterprise level with more access. And unfortunately, it often results in sort of rapid and significant business impact as well, because if an attacker does get access to one of those privileged areas, then like Active Directory or something like that, or Entra, then obviously it's going to cause a massive disruption, because they're going to try to do something to disrupt that business, and maybe then try and get money or something, or get your data or something that's going to cost you as a business and allow them to benefit. So this is what is the sort of recommended sort of privileged access strategy from a Microsoft perspective. So this is sort of, securing privileged access effectively seals off sort of unauthorized pathways completely, and it leaves a select few authorized access pathways that can then be protected and that can be closely monitored. The diagram that we're seeing here is more detail in that sort of area around the privileged access strategy. And as we can see, we have our sort of business critical applications that are accessed on that right hand side. And we have sort of our privileged access in that top tier. So that includes, privileged access for device and workstations. They should have their own account. We have then, intermediaries. We have an interface as well. And then we have that sort of below level, which is that user access. Again, that's below the privileged access, because that's less, the users with normal standard access can't get to those sort of privileged areas. Again, they have that device workstation access, but from a user perspective, and they have an account as well that is normally managed by an identity provider, as are the privileged access as well. And this is a sort of complete end-to-end approach as well, and it's required for meaningful security. And what we're saying is here that within our sort of identity platform, let's use Entra as the example because we are talking about Microsoft. You make sure, especially when you're accessing cloud services, that you have separate privileged accounts that are cloud native to manage those services. So you need to make sure admins are going to have multiple accounts. They're going to have their standard user account, which is to log into their normal device. But then again, I'm not sure if it's covered here, but even having separate devices to access separate privileged services like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. We are going to be talking about that in a short while. So that brings us on to sort of talking about the enterprise access model as well now. And again, this is quite an important topic when it comes to privileged access. So let's see what we're going to talk about here. So this is quite a common diagram. We have different sort of planes here, including the data workload plane, the privileged access plane, the management plane. So talk about the data and workload plane there, like that's kind of in highlighted in like a lighter green. This contains the sort of primary stores of business value that an organization needs to protect. So you can see that includes sort of your machine learning, your data, your application, websites, things like that. The application data layer that we see as well. This typically, is the applications and data typically are a large sort of percentage of the organisation, sort of business processes and intellectual property as well. So you have those within your applications and workloads and within your data and applications as well. The enterprise IT organisation manages and supports these workloads and the infrastructure as well that they are based on, whether it's on premises or in Azure or Microsoft 365 or even a third-party cloud provider. You need to create that sort of management plane, and providing consistent access control to these systems across the enterprise requires that control plane and requires you to have a sort of a single methodology of connecting. And that's based on a sort of a centralized enterprise identity system, often supplemented by network access controls for sort of older systems like your operational technology devices. For these systems to create business value, they must be accessible to sort of internal users, partners, and customers using their workstations or devices, often using sort of remote access solutions. Creating user access pathways is essentially what we're doing there. They must also frequently be available programmatically via application programming interfaces, APIs, to facilitate process automation, and that's creating what we call the application access pathways. Finally, these systems must be managed and maintained by IT staff, developers, or others in the organization. This is creating that privileged access pathway. And because of the high level of sort of control they provide over sort of business critical assets in your organization, these pathways need to be more stringently protected against any sort of compromise or attack. The enterprise access model supersedes and replaces what was the legacy tier model that was focused on containing unauthorized escalation of privilege in an on-premises or sort of Windows Server Active Directory environment. The enterprise access model incorporates these elements as well as sort of the full access management requirements of a sort of modern enterprise that spans on-premises, multiple clouds, and sort of external user access as well. So, a bit of a short theoretical sort of slide deck there. Just went through sort of the introduction to privileged access and the sort of enterprise access model. So now we're going to do a bit of a demo where we go through different ways of implementing sort of privileged access. So let's jump over to the demo portal. So here we are in the Microsoft Entra admin center. So we are in the new admin center for Entra. We're not going to go into the old Azure AD tenant. What I wanted to look at was the conditional access and sort of the new sort of look of it and the sort of conditional access templates that you can do as well. Again, it's going to help you if you're a reviewer. It's going to help you with sort of designing your conditional access and your identity piece. So there's obviously a lot of options here. We need to go, I think it's under protection, and then you've got conditional access. So you're under identity. There's obviously different aspects of Entra identity, protection, identity governance. We've got the payment stuff. We're going to be looking at that later on in the series as well. So we'll go to identity, protection. We want conditional access specifically. Now you've still got the traditional, create a new policy. As you can do, create a new policy from scratch, custom one. Or the new one is now you can create a new policy from a template, and this is going to save you a lot of time. So again, it's got different. You can look at all of them, or you can look at the different sort of templates they have. So we've got sort of secure foundation. These are all the ones for sort of foundational security. So we've got require MFA for your admins, securing security info registration, blocking legacy authentication. These are all kind of your general, what really should be part of a tenant, from day one. Require MFA for all users, require MFA for Azure management, and require compliant or hybrid Azure AD joined devices, MFA for all users as well. And then as we move on to sort of zero trust, so this is, again, some of them are the same. They've got some of the same policies under the different elements. So the zero trust ones, again, pretty similar to to the secure foundation, you got require multi-factor authentication for admins. You've got secure registering for registration. You've got blocking legacy authentication. MFA for Azure management. But it's slightly different. Is you've got guest. It's require MFA for guests. That's sort of a bit of a difference between the secure foundation and zero trust. Then got remote work. We can see there's plenty more available in here. Where you've got the security registration info, legacy authentication blocking, MFA for all users, MFA for guest users. Again, the hybrid and Azure AD device for admins, sort of compliant device thing is here. You can configure blocking access for unknown or unsupported device platforms. So that's a new one. No persistent browser sessions requiring approved client apps and using application enforced restrictions for Office 365 apps. And you go forward then to sort of protecting the administrator. Again, the MFA, blocking legacy authentication, MFA for the Azure management, the compliant Azure hybrid device, and you've got a requiring phishing resistant MFA and requiring authenticate MFA for Microsoft admin portals. So the main thing about, I'm just going to select one of these for example. Now, the main great thing about this is going to save you time because it's templated. So you can kind of you can view it first of all, so it shows you the template scenarios that it covers, the users. It's going to be all users. It's excluded. The current user, just so my account would be excluded. It's going to affect all applications, all cloud apps, and the client apps is legacy authentication clients, so anything Exchange, Active Sync clients. So you've probably created this manually yourself, but again, these templates are going to save you a lot of time, and you can go to review and create. And again, you can essentially give it a policy name if you want, or just leave it at the default, or you can set it in the sort of policy state. But what these templates allow you to do is, just want to go back on, just allow you to save you time on sort of having to configure or customize these. If you want to customize them, you can still do the old-fashioned way, but especially these are the very standard conditional access policies. And if you've got a template, you can quickly go through it, put it in report mode, make sure it works okay, and then just apply it. It's going to save you a lot of time. So yeah, that was just a quick overview of what to look at conditional access and some of the templates you can use. That is sort of, we're almost done with topic 6 now. So yeah, appreciate everybody watching and appreciate everyone's support. It's been a very popular series. Hopefully it's helping you in your sort of exam topics and your exam prep. Got some very useful descriptions in the, I've got very useful links in the description below, including the sort of obviously the GitHub for the case studies. I won't call them labs, they're more case studies. That's why I'm doing these random labs around different topics around security. And it's all kind of linked to the sort of theory we're doing as well within each video. Also a URL to measure up who the sort of main partners for practice exams for Microsoft. So there's a discount link in the description, but also a link to Microsoft Learn where you can get some more free information and sort of study guides, study information for this exam. So make sure you use that. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you subscribe. Try to get to that 20k mark before the end of the year. So thank you for watching. Until next time. Goodbye.